Hey, it's Rachel at Journey Back Quilts. In this series, we're going to be making traditional quilt blocks. By the end of the series, if you sew along with me, you'll have 16 finished blocks to finish into a throw size quilt. Today, we're going to be making the Friendship Star block. Let's get started. Okay, to make this Friendship Star, we're going to need a couple pieces of fabric. I've got a dark fabric that's measuring 7 inches and a light fabric measuring 7 inches. And then 4 light fabrics measuring 4.5 inches and 1 dark measuring 4.5 inches. We're going to make 4 half square triangles at a time with these 7 inches. So I'm just going to put these right sides together. And you can watch the video on how to do half square triangles 4 at a time up here in that link above. I'm going to go make these real quick and I'll see you back here in just a second. And just like that, we've got 4 ready to go. I'm going to square these up to 4.5 inches though, so that everything matches. And to do that, you're going to put the diagonal of your ruler on the diagonal of your block, scooting it up so that 4.5 inches, you can see a little bit of fabric past that 4.5 inch mark all the way around. So we can square up all 4 sides. Go ahead and do that to all 4 of these and I'll see you back here when you're done. Now that I have those all squared up, we're going to lay this quilt block out. So I'm going to get my little design board here. And I'm going to put the dark fabric in the center and the lighter colored fabrics on the corners. And then our half square triangles are going to go in between all of those blocks, pointing down like this so that we make our, it's kind of a pinwheel shape with our points. They're all going to kind of rotate a little bit so that they are matching up with our center. And there is the Friendship Star. Isn't that cool? So fun. So same as all the other blocks, we're going to sew these 3 blocks into 3 rows like a 9 patch, and then we can nest those seams and get those perfect points. So let's go to the sewing machine and put these together. So right sides together, I'm just taking the far right block to the center block on the top row. We're going to sew those down at a 1/4 inch seam. And then the center right with the middle, right sides together. And the last row, far right with the middle, right sides together. Okay, now we're just going to clip apart that chain since we chain pieced all of these and lay them right back out the same way that they were on our design board or just the side of your machine. Okay, and then I'm going to take the far left and add it to the row. Right sides together. Okay, clip apart those connecting threads and let's take them to the ironing board. Okay, so we want these seams to nest. So I'm just going to lay it back out here and take a look. So these we're going to iron in towards the center and these we're going to iron out towards the outside, okay? So I'm just going to lift up this piece and let the iron push that seam over to the outside. Same with this side. Get that seam laying flat on your ironing board, and then you can just push it over. And same with this one. I'm going to push it to the outside. And the outside. And this is going towards the inside. Okay, now our seams can nest right here and we'll get those perfect points. So I'm just going to take this one and flop it over right sides together. Focus on nesting that seam right here and then line up your raw edges. If your outside edge doesn't match up perfectly, that's okay. We want to make sure that this is what we're focusing on. We're getting those seams nested and in place before we get this in place, because we can always trim that excess off. Maybe our block is a little bit bigger than 12.5 inches, and so we'll square that up anyway, but it's 1/8 of an inch or less than my other block, so I'm not worried about it. All right, let's go back to the sewing machine. All right, I'm just focusing on that first set of nested seams, getting those locked in place, and then sew down past them. And once I get right past it, then I'm going to pause, let my sewing machine be my extra foot there, my extra hand I mean, and then nest this other seam in place. Get it locked in place and then keep sewing. I'm just going to make sure the rest of this is lined up nicely. Okay, let's see how it looks. Oh yeah, perfect. Love it. So now I'm going to rotate it and put the other row on there. Make sure it's going the right direction. You don't want to accidentally put it on this way or else your star is not connected anymore. So make sure it's rotated this way so that they're connected, and then right sides together. Again, nest those first set of seams on the left side because that's where we're going to start sewing. And then pause, double check this other side, make sure that they are nested as well. And then pause and double check everything's lined up for the last little bit. Let's take a look. Oh, looks good. Okay, let's take it back to the ironing board. So just like all the other lessons that we've done in this series so far, you can have your choice on how you want to iron this. If you want to iron all of your seams going out or all of them going in, or opening your seams on the back. Opening helps them lay flatter so that when you do the quilting, you're not hitting a ton of really bulky seams. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it to the other side and just double check it on the top, ironing it nice and flat. That way when we go square it up, everything should be laying where it should be and it's not being all bunchy anywhere, throwing off our dimensions. I like to go diagonally with my iron. I'm not stretching or pulling on it though, I'm just letting the iron do the work for me. Now to square this up, I'm using my 12.5 inch ruler. And this seam right here should be 4 1/4. That will help you get it lined up, and 4 1/4 going this way as well. That will help you center it as best you can since we don't really have a center point. And it's looking really good. There is just a hair right here and right here. And I don't like cutting towards my body, but as long as my body's kind of rotated out of the way, and I'm going to be really careful, then I'll go ahead and trim that way, just because I don't like to lift everything up and rotate it again. But you do want to be careful so you don't have a little accident. Okay, and then a little bit right here. There we go! Great job making the Friendship Star Block. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today in making this Friendship Star Block. I hope that you enjoyed this and you're going to go make one for yourself. We would love to see all these blocks that you're making. You can join our free Facebook group in the description link below and post your pictures of all the blocks you've been making. If you'd like more help in your quilting journey, I invite you to join our society, where you will get a library full of quilting tutorials to help you in your journey. Next week, we'll be making the Lemoyne Star Block. I'll see you then. Next week, we're going to be making the Lemoyne Star Block. Say that 10 times fast. Next week, we're going to be making the la 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 la.